So guys, here agenda for today's session is, first of all, we will discuss about the .NET and the .NET Core framework. So you should know how the .NET Core is different from the existing .NET framework. Then I will share like nowadays how the .NET platform looks. Then I will share the evolution history of ASP.NET Core, what is ASP.NET Core architecture, and I will share the performance benchmark for ASP.NET Core. Then we will talk about the ASP.NET Core application model, and we will compare the ASP.NET and the ASP.NET Core request processing as well. So first of all, let's start with the history of the .NET platform. So guys, you are already aware of the .NET first time is available in the year 2001. So then in 2012, the Microsoft released the .NET Framework 1.0, and at the same time, Mono project was announced. So if you are talking about the mobile apps development using Xamarin, so Xamarin is based upon the Mono. So Mono is also announced at the same time. Then in 2004, the Mono 1.0 was released. Then in 2005, we have .NET Framework 2.0. Then we have the .NET Framework 4.0 in 2010. Then in 2012, we have the ASP.NET MVC, Entity Framework, TypeScript. All these things, they make open source. So if you're talking about the open source, so in 2012, the Microsoft make the MVC and the Entity Framework as open source. Then in 2014, the Microsoft introduced the .NET Foundation, and under the .NET Foundation, the Microsoft make the .NET and the Mono as open source project. Then in 2016, the .NET Core 1.0 was released, and at the same time, the Mono joins the .NET Foundation. And in 2017, means in the same year, in the August, the .NET Core 2.0 was released, and the ASP.NET Core 2.0 was released, and we have the Entity Framework Core 2.0 as well. So this is the history of the .NET platform in brief, so that you have the idea what are the versions are available and what other things are available here. So guys, here let's start with the .NET. So if you are talking about the .NET, so .NET is a development platform for building web applications, services, and mobile applications. And it contains the CLR and the .NET Framework class libraries that support a wide range of technologies. So under the .NET, we can use WCF, WPF, ASP.NET Web Form, ASP.NET MVC. So we have an extensive range of technologies. And if you're talking about the latest version of the .NET, so latest version is the .NET 4.7. So 4.7 is the latest release of the .NET framework. But the .NET framework can run only on Windows operating system. So you cannot run the .NET framework on Mac, Linux, Ubuntu. So we have the dependencies only on the Windows. So this is about the existing .NET framework. The people are using around last 16 years. Because the .NET is available from 2001 and today is 2017. So around last 17 years and 16 years, the people are using the .NET. So let's see what is .NET Core. So if you're talking about the .NET Core, so .NET Core does not mean it is the updated version of the .NET framework. as we have, the .NET Framework 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, and the 4.7. So these are the updated version for the existing .NET Framework. Actually, the .NET Core is entirely different. So .NET Core is modular and smaller implementation of the existing .NET, because it is a cross-platform. So you can run the .NET Core based application on Windows, Linux, Mac, and Ubuntu as well. So .NET Core is cross-platform. It is open source as well. And here you can use containers. So if you're planning to use containers, let's say the Docker, so you can easily use the .NET Core. And the .NET Core is also based upon the microservices architecture. So if you are planning to implement the microservices architecture, which is the implementation of the SOA. I know you already know about the SOA because the SOA is used by the WCF and the web services. So microservices is an implementation of the SOA architecture. And even in .NET Core, we have the app label isolation as well to support the various version of the .NET framework. So, and even if you are comparing the performance of .NET Core, so .NET Core is obviously optimized for the high performance and the scalability. So if you are looking for the performance, if you are looking for the scalability, the .NET Core will help you. And even if you are talking about the development tools, so .NET Core has the cross-platform development tools. So it doesn't matter whether you are using Windows, Mac, and the Linux. Everywhere you can do the development for the .NET Core. So we have, so as a cross-platform development tools, we have the VS Code. So VS Code is a cross-platform IDE introduced by the Microsoft, which you can run on Windows, Mac, and the Linux. And even you can use the .NET CLI as well. So Microsoft also introduced the command language interface, which you can use for developing the .NET Core based application. And if you are looking for the futures, so .NET Core built for the next 10 years of software development. So you will see in couple of years, everywhere .NET Core replace the all implementation of .NET. So wherever you are using right now .NET, let's say you might be using the WCF, you might be using the SignalR, and you might be using the Xamarin. So everywhere you will see the Microsoft is going to use .NET Core. So .NET Core is the feature of the development inside the Microsoft. I don't know guys, if you will see what are the the latest .NET platform we have. So this is the latest .NET platform. So guys, if you are talking about the various implementation of .NET, so we have the three implementation of .NET actually. We have the .NET framework, we have the .NET Core, and we have the Mono. So Mono is used by the Xamarin. So if you will see, if you want to share the code across all these three implementation of .NET framework, so the Microsoft has introduced the .NET standard library. So by using the .NET standard library, you can create a project, and that code we can share across the .NET implementation. It doesn't matter whether you are using the .NET Framework 4.7, it doesn't matter whether you are using the .NET Core 2.0, it doesn't matter whether you are using the Mono in Xamarin. Everywhere you can share the code. Now you don't need to create the separate library to support the .NET Framework, to support the .NET Core, and to support the Mono. Everywhere it is going to be same. And if you're talking about the development tools, so as a development tools, we have the Visual Studio, for the Windows. We have the Visual Studio for Mac. We have the Visual Studio Code as a cross-platform IDE, which you can run on Windows, Mac, and the Linux. And same time, we can use the command line interface as well. So CLI is also available as a cross-platform development tools. So this is the latest .NET platform for developing the various types of application. So using the C Sharp, using the capability and the power of C Sharp, you can develop a mobile application, you can develop a web application, you can develop a window application, you can develop a IoT application, you can use the C Sharp in AI as well. So everywhere the Microsoft is putting the things. So each and type of application is possible to develop using the .NET platform. Now let's see the evolution history of ASP.NET Core. So now guys, I know you are already working as a web developer and you have used the ASP.NET web form, and some of them might use the classic ASP as well for the web development. So now guys, we have the classic ASP initially introduced by the Microsoft for the web development. After that, we have the ASP.NET web form. And after that, Microsoft introduced the ASP.NET MVC. And in case of MVC, we have MVC 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 are the latest, the version of the MVC. And we had the ASP.NET web pages as well. So if you're planning to develop the small website, so using the ASP.NET web pages, we can develop. And if you're planning to develop a REST API, so we can develop using the ASP.NET web API. And you know guys, by clubbing all these three things, means ASP.NET MVC 5, ASP.NET web pages, and ASP.NET web API, the Microsoft introduced the ASP.NET MVC 6. But soon Microsoft realized it is not update to the existing ASP.NET MVC 5 because it is completely the different framework, because it is based upon the different implementation of the .NET. So they renamed it to the ASP.NET Core MVC, and even the .NET 5, or you can say the .NET 2015, they renamed to as the .NET Core 1.0. So initial name was the ASP.NET MVC 6 for your ASP.NET Core 1.0, and for the .NET .NET Core 1.0, so initial name was here the .NET 2015, or you can say the .NET 5. So if you are talking about the ASP.NET Core MVC, so it is a unified version of MVC, Web API, and the web pages. So instead of using the three different styles, like one is style for developing the web application, one is style for developing the website using the web pages, and one is style for developing the web API, or like developing the REST API. So now you have to follow only one style. So there is, and altogether we have the common library as well in ASP.NET Core. So using the same project template and using the same controller, I can create the API, I can create the MVC. Simple. So it is a unified version of MVC, web pages, and the web API. And if you are talking about the architecture of ASP.NET Core, so ASP.NET Core we can run either on the top of the existing .NET framework 4.6 plus, like 4.6.1, and even we can use the 4.7 as well, because the 4.7 is the latest one. And we can run the ASP.NET Core based application on the top of .NET Core as well. So .NET Core, we can run on Windows, Mac, and the Linux, everywhere we can run. And you can see in the ASP.NET Core, on the top of .NET Core, we can run either the ASP.NET Core web application, we can run the universal Windows apps. So if you're planning to develop the UWPM, for your Windows 10 machine. So using the .NET Core, we can also develop there. And if you are looking into the ASP.NET Core features, so again, it is an open source and the cross-platform framework which runs on the top of .NET Core and on the full .NET framework. But for the full .NET framework, the support is from 4.6 plus. On the .NET framework 4.5, we cannot run the ASP.NET Core application. I don't know, guys, it is a unified framework for building the web API and the web UI. So instead of following the two different style as we follow in MVC5 and the web API 2, for developing the web API, web UI separately using the MVC5 and for developing the REST API separately using the web API. Now we have the unified framework. And it has the built-in dependency injection support. So instead of using the DI container and the IOC container within your application, now this is built in. It is a part of the ASP.NET Core framework. And it is lightweight and modular HTTP request pipeline it support. So if you're talking about the performance, so performance wise, it is very, very lightweight as compared to your existing ASP.NET framework. And it ships entirely as NuGet packages. So here, all the things we can download as a NuGet packages using the NuGet.org website. So everything can be downloaded from the NuGet. So it's not the case just like the .NET Framework 3.5 and the 4.0, you have to install all the things on your machine. Here things can be shipped into your application as a NuGet packages. And it has a very good integration with the modern client-side libraries and framework like Angular, React, Backbone, and whatever the other JS libraries and framework you want to use in your application. And guys, here if you are talking about the ASP.NET Core, so ASP.NET Core you can use for building the modern cloud-based application like web application, IoT apps, mobile backends. And if you are comparing the performance of ASP.NET Core with the existing ASP.NET framework, so it can serve 2300%. So guys, it is not 23, it's not 230, it's 2300% more requests per second the ASP.NET Core can serve. So you can see there is a huge performance improvement in ASP.NET Core. And this is the diagram I have taken from the official benchmark provided by the Microsoft team. So you can see here, this is the at the bottom, it is here ASP.NET 4.0. Then from the ASP.NET 4.0, the better performance is for the Node.js. Then on the top level of Node.js, we have the ASP.NET Core CLR. And if you will see, if you are using the ASP.NET Core with Linux machine, so this is the performance. If you are using the ASP.NET Core with Windows machine, so this is the performance. So you can see how faster the ASP.NET Core is from the Node.js as well. Because before the ASP.NET Core, Node.js was the fastest framework in the market. But if you will see in the performance of Node.js and the ASP.NET Core, there is a huge difference. So guys, here right now, the people might be thinking like which framework they should use for the web development. Some people might be thinking to switch into the Node.js. Some people might be going to use the other framework as well. But if you are comparing the performance benchmarks with the fastest web development framework in the market in the last 2 years. So if you will see, .NET Core is beating all the performance, all the framework in the market. So you can see Node.js was the fastest framework. After that, we had the Go. After that, we had the Java servlet. And if you will see now, the .NET Core is the fastest development framework in the market, if you will see. So you can decide where you want to go. So if you are a .NET developer, if you are a .NET guy, you can stick with the ASP.NET Core for the web development. So don't worry, for the upcoming 10 years, .NET Core Microsoft is going to use everywhere. So because the existing .NET framework is not provide so much better performance, so that's why everywhere the Microsoft is using the .NET Core for developing the things, so that the performance Microsoft can introduce everywhere, the scalability Microsoft can introduce everywhere, because the .NET Core is based upon the microservices architecture. And the microservice architecture is the latest style, it is the latest way for developing the web application. So whatever the industry, what are the big the organization like Microsoft, Google are using the latest, and the same way the Microsoft is providing the option to its developer as well, to its customer as well, for developing the things. And guys, here obviously when you will look into the ASP.NET Core, so you will compare the things from the ASP.NET MVC 5. So if you will see the ASP.NET Core anatomy, so everything in ASP.NET Core starts from program.cs, and in fact it is a console application, because in console application we have a main method. Same way in ASP.NET Core program.cs file you will find a main method, and then main method is responsible for starting the application. And in ASP.NET Core we have a startup class. So in the startup class we define all the application level setting which we want to apply as soon as our application will start. So in ASP.NET Core there is no global.asx file, we don't have app.config file, and even we don't have the modules and handler as well. So whatever the core concept we have in ASP.NET Web Form, in ASP.NET MVC 5, these are not available here. In place of modules and handler, we have the middlewares. So use middlewares for doing the same thing as we do using the modules and handlers. And if you're talking about the hosting, so ASP.NET MVC 5 application we can deploy only on IaaS. We cannot deploy it on the Apache Tomcat and Nginx. But the ASP.NET Core application are based upon the cross-platform Kestrel web server. And the Kestrel you can use with Apache Tomcat, you can use with IaaS, you can use with the Nginx. So everywhere you can deploy your ASP.NET Core base application. So if you already using the Linux based server, so you don't need to purchase the Windows based server. On your Linux based server, you can deploy your ASP.NET Core application. So ASP.NET Core you can run everywhere, but the ASP.NET MVC 5 not. So that's why the Microsoft is supporting the cross platform. So don't think Microsoft is only with Windows operating system. Now Microsoft is supporting all the framework. If you are aware of the SQL Server Microsoft is also introduced with Linux as well. So SQL Server you can run with Windows machine, you can run with Linux machine as well. And even the recently, if you are talking about the Microsoft Connect 2017, Microsoft released one more studio. So Microsoft released the SQL Operation Studio, which you can run on Windows, Mac, and Linux and Ubuntu as well to query your SQL database. So it doesn't matter what the operating system you are using. Microsoft is targeting all the ways in the market. So now the thing is cross-platform. I don't know, guys, if you're talking about the ASP.NET Core. So in MVC, whatever the controller, you will create the same controller you can use for Web API as well. And the same action you can use in MVC and Web API, filters, model binding, routing, and attributes. Because if you're talking about the MVC 5 and the Web API 2, so we had the different controller for Web API, different action, filter, model binding, everything was different in MVC 5 and Web API 2. But in ASP.NET Core, the things are same. The pipeline is same. But in MVC 5, there was the different pipeline, and in Web API 2, there was different pipeline. But here the pipeline is exactly same. It doesn't matter whether you are writing the code for MVC, whether you are writing the code for your API. Now let's me give the answer of some question like people ask of the chat window. So here some people ask about, let me start with the starting. Like Deepak Tripathi asked about like .NET Core is open source or license. So I already given the answer like .NET Core is open source, so don't need to purchase the license. And now here someone asked about like what level of integration we can do with the JavaScript library and framework. So now guys, if you're talking about the JavaScript library, let's say the jQuery, we have like React.js. If you're talking about the framework, like we have Angular. So we can easily integrate. Even you can develop the entire front end part using the Angular 4, Angular 5, and React. And as a backend, you can use the ASP.NET Core. So everything is possible here. And even the JS framework, we can integrate with the ASP.NET Core MVC as well. So some front end part we can develop using the ASP.NET Core MVC, and the some front end part we can develop here using the Angular and using the React here. Even you can use the Vue.js as well. And we have here like, okay, I have shared the diagram like how the ASP.NET Core is faster from the Node.js. And someone is asking about like .NET Core support mobile as element. Guys, here if you're talking about the Xamarin, so Xamarin is based upon the Mono. So Mono is another implementation of the existing .NET framework. So right now we have the 3 implementation for the .NET framework. We have .NET and the latest version is 4.7. We have the Mono and we have the .NET Core. And here someone is asking about like without using the web.config and the global.asx, where we will keep the application configuration. So in the JSON file, you can use the you can put the application configuration. We have the app setting.json in place of the web.config. And for the global.asx, we have the startup class for doing the same thing. Guys, in ASP.NET Core, we have the JSON based setting for the project.json, but in 2.0 we don't have the project.json. We have the project.cs project. So again, Microsoft is using the XML based setting for the project file. Yeah guys, SQL Server support the Linux, SQL Server support the Windows as well. So if you're talking about the SQL Server 2017, so it has the support for both the platform. Yeah guys, you can easily migrate your existing database to the SQL Server 2017, and even you can run it as it is without any change. It has the complete compatibility. Guys, yeah, don't worry, I will share the example as well. It's not the case, it is about only the theory. .NETics believe in hands-on training. So I will share the things, but before that, make sure what the things you are learning and what is the future you should be aware of. So that's why I'm first of all sharing the theory part so that you have the understanding. Then I will show you how you can develop the application using the Visual Studio. Don't worry about that. I hope I have given the answer for all the things. So guys, here if you're talking about the ASP.NET Core application model, so you can see it is a console application. And inside the console application, you will find the Kestrel web server. So it is a cross-platform web server because ultimately you have to deploy your application on Mac, Windows, and the Linux. And internally, when we develop the web application logic, so obviously we will have the static files, we will have the HTML, we will have the configuration, we have the logging. So all the things we will define here. And if you're talking about the request processing of the ASP.NET and the ASP.NET Core, so how both are different. So you can see in case of ASP.NET framework, we have only IIS web server. So IIS is responsible for the handling the request. And internally in the ASP.NET application, we have the application begin request, we have the authenticate request, authorize request. But if you're talking about the ASP.NET Core, in ASP.NET Core, you can use the Kestrel web server with any web server. So you can use IIS, you can use Apache Tomcat, you can use Nginx. So it doesn't mean where you are hosting your ASP.NET Core application, you can run everywhere. So things are here pretty much simple. Things are here, they're pretty much good. Yeah, guys, you can develop the enterprise level application using a .NET Core. After the release of the .NET Core 2.0, the enterprise level application you can develop easily. And it's not the case using the .NET Core 1.0 or like 1.1 you cannot develop. You can develop. And even we have developed so many enterprise level application using a .NET Core 2.0. So .NET Core 1.0, 1.1 and the 2.0 all are for the enterprise level application element. And soon in March 2018, you will get the .NET Core 2.1 as well. So the Microsoft entirely focus is on the .NET Core version. If you're talking about the old project migration, so if you have an application in ASP.NET MVC 5, so you can migrate, but you have to do so many changes. So at the configuration level, at the framework level, there's so many things you have to change. Same way, the ASP.NET ASP.NET web form based application you can also migrate, but there will be the huge change because in ASP.NET web form we don't have the model view and controller architecture, but in MVC 5 we have the model view controller architecture. So MVC 5 based application we can easily migrate into the ASP.NET Core. But ASP.NET web form base application you have to write from the scratch again. Simple. And you know what are the new features are introduced with the ASP.NET 2.0? I'm just sharing the list here. So these are the new features. So we have the new Razor pages. We have the updated templates and the SPA templates. And instead of adding the different libraries separately in ASP.NET Core 1.0 and the 1.01, now we have a single reference, a Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.all, and will have all the settings for developing a web application. And now in ASP.NET Core 2.0, the Microsoft simplified the application host configuration as well. We have the consistent middleware configuration. So instead of following the different style to configure your middleware in ASP.NET Core 1.0 and 1.1, in from the 2.0 it is consistent. And from 2.0 we can also use the Visual Basic as well. So Microsoft also introduced the Visual Basic support but the recommended is C Sharp, I'm telling you. So go with the C Sharp only, no, don't use the Visual Basic. And even these, now Microsoft expanded the OS support. So whatever the, the various, the Linux version we have. So they expanded the operating system support as well. And we have the .NET Standard 2.0 as well with the expanded API support, so that you can share the code within your Xamarin application, within your .NET application, and within your .NET Core. So everywhere you can share the code after using the .NET Standard 2.0 base library. And even if you want to use the .NET assembly, means your existing DLL you want to use. So we can also use with the ASP.NET Core 2.0. And here we have the automatic page and the view compilation. So when you will publish your application in ASP.NET Core 2.0, so everything will be compiled. So you will not find any CSS/HTML file on the server as we have in MVC5 and in MVC4. Here the Razor files will be compiled so that there will be the boost up in your application performance. So ASP.NET Core application are very faster than your MVC5 application. So guys, I hope now you have the idea about the ASP.NET Core framework. And now let me share the way how you can develop the application here using the ASP.NET Core 2.0. Guys, here if you are looking for the IDE, so as an IDE, we can use Visual Studio 15 as well. It's not the case you have to use the 17, but with the 17 you will experienced so many new features as well, because 17 has so many cool features which are not available in 2015. And even if you are looking for your personal experience, and if you are running a small organization, so Visual Studio is free. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to purchase the license. So don't worry about the Visual Studio licensing cost, because we have the Visual Studio Community Edition. So you can download the Visual Studio Community Edition. This is free to use for personal use, and this is also free for the small organization as well. And this is the live connect the Microsoft having nowadays. Okay. So the day one and the day two Microsoft introduced. So many new the things Microsoft introduced in the Connect 2017. If you want to see what the new features are, what are the new other things that Microsoft introduced. So many excited things that Microsoft introduced within 2 days, and even it is going on. So guys, here I'm just using the Visual Studio 2017, because in 17 we have so many new features to experience. And here we have the option for creating a new project. So just create a new project here. So we have the option for .NET Core here. So in the .NET Core, we can develop a .NET Core web application. Then specify the location where you want to save your project. So let's say I'm storing on the desktop. So just like the desktop, then specify your application name. So my application name is, let's say, Web App Core. This is my application name. Then click on OK button. Now it will ask for the versions, which version of .NET Core you want to use. So it's up to you whether you want to deploy it use on the top of .NET Core, whether you want to deploy it on the top of .NET Framework. And here we have the ASP.NET Core version as well. So we have 1.0, 1.1, 2.0. So the latest one is 2.0. I'm using here 2.0. Now these are the available templates we can use. So I'm just using the internet template using the MVC pattern. So this is the base upon the MVC pattern. So now just select this one. Then here just click on OK button. It will create the ASP.NET Core application with the MVC style. Guys, I told here if you have an application in MVC 5 and an MVC 4, so you can easily migrate into the .NET Core, because the maximum code you can reuse. You have to just do the changes at the configuration level, because in .NET Core we don't have app.config, we don't have the global.asx. So what are the setting you have there? So those setting you have to move into the either in startup class, either in app setting.json. But if you have the web form based application, so web form based application you cannot migrate easily. You have to rewrite from the scratch. But MVC 5 based application you can migrate. Guys, if you're talking about the selection, whether you want to support the .NET framework, whether you want to support the .NET Core while creating the project. So difference is .NET framework means you can deploy your application only on Windows. You cannot deploy it on Mac and the Linux. But if you want to deploy it on Mac and the Linux, then select the .NET Core. This is the difference. So you have to decide whether you want to run it on the top of existing .NET framework, whether you want to run it on the top of the .NET Core. So recommendation is .NET Core, because it might be the case you have a server which you don't want to upgrade. You want to run it with your existing application compatibility. Then you can use the .NET Core on the top level of .NET framework. This is a difference only. Yeah, guys, now we have the React.js and AngularJS template as a part of the Visual Studio. So the Microsoft team has done a great job. They have created the template, how to integrate the Angular with ASP.NET Core, how to integrate the React.js with ASP.NET Core. Even we have the template for others JS library as well. If you are really interested, we have the template for Vue.js as well, and we have the template for Knockout as well. So others JavaScript framework template also available, which you can use with ASP.NET Core easily. Guys, if I'm talking about the functionality, so I said .NET Core is a modular implementation of your existing .NET. So it is a lightweight as compared to your existing .NET. So whatever the capability we have in the existing .NET framework, so the same capability set are available in .NET Core. But they introduced here, they make it cross-platform so that you can run everywhere. Guys, the template support here Angular 4.0, not the Angular JS. So we have the support for Angular 4.0. Obviously, the .NET Core has all the features as we have in MVC 5, even it has more than that. So guys, here if you will see here, we have www root folder. So this www root folder is here for having the static files. Because in ASP.NET MVC 5, there was no specific folder for putting the static file, but in ASP.NET Core, we have. So if you want to put the CSS, images, JS, and the library, you can put in this www root folder. So this is the folder for putting the static files, the static information, or you can say the public files you can put here. If the files are sensitive, if the things are sensitive, so just put in any other folder apart from the www root. And you can see we have a controllers folder, and the controller we have the home controller. So here we are following the MVC pattern. So as per the MVC pattern, we have to create the controller, we have to create the model. So you can see we have here a model as well. So if you want to show the errors, so for errors, we have the model here, and we have the views folder as well. If you're looking into the view folder, we have the home. So in the home controller, we have created the actions, we have created the index, about, and the contact. So for all these action, we have the files here, because ultimately we are returning the view. So whatever the action name we have, so corresponding to each and every action, we have the file here, like about.cshtml, contact.cshtml. So when you will try to access this action, so the corresponding view file will be rendered from the home folder. Simple. And if you will see, we have a shared folder as well. So in the shared folder, we have the layout. So layout is just like as we have the master page. So on the layout page, we can define the environment specific file, because guys, when we develop an application, so we have the environment for development, we have the environment for staging, we have the environment for testing. So here the environment specific static files we can define. So right now we are in the development environment, so it will use these files. So it will enter the files from this location. But if the same thing we will deploy on the server, it will use the files from this location, because obviously we should use CDN in the publish environment, in the production environment. So instead of putting the things from your local environment, it will be rendered from the CDN. Simple. So environment specific static files we can enter here. Simple. And this is the menu bar here for the bootstrap. Same way we have the environment specific setting for the JS here. Simple. And we have a common error page, if you will see. And if you are comparing this project with the MVC5, so in MVC5 we have a web.config, but here we don't have the web.config. We have here underscore view import file. So whatever the commonly used namespaces you want to use on each and every view page, you should add here. So I'm adding the namespace for the core and the models. And even in ASP.NET Core, we have the tag helper. So tag helper will give you the development experience as we have in JS framework. So instead of using the HTML helpers, you can use the tag helper for creating the text box, for defining the server side setting for your input. And just like we have here view start as well. So this view start is responsible to serve the common layout page for our application. So this is the view here. And if you're talking about the web.config, so in place of that, we have this app setting.json. So in app setting.json, if you will see right now, we don't have anything. But if you want to define the connection string, we can define here. And that connection string we can read in the startup.cs file. And guys, here if you will see, we have here bower.json file as well. So here Microsoft is using the Bower as a package manager console for downloading the front-end dependencies. So if you want to download the Bootstrap, jQuery, let's say Angular JS 1.x, like Knockout. So using the Bower we can download. So this is the Bower dependencies we are putting here. So when you will execute this bower.json file, it will download the library in this lib folder. So in the lib folder, we have the library downloaded by the Bower. So you can see we have Bootstrap, we have jQuery, we have jQuery validation, we have a jQuery validation.unobtrusive. Guys, here I already told, here we can, in app setting.json, we can define the connection string option. So as we are putting the logging here, same way we can put the connection strings as a string, then colon, then define your connection string. Let's say your connection string name as we define, let's say default connection like mystr. It's up to you. Vijay, if you're talking about the environment for the QA and the production, we don't need to mention, because if you will see in the layout, we have two things here: include and the exclude. Means these setting will be applicable for the development environment, and these setting will be applicable for production, for QA, and for the pilot as well, because it is excluding the development environment. Okay, because generally for QA and the production, we will have the same set of libraries, because the same code we have to deploy on the production machine as well. So we should check whether these library, whether these styles are running perfectly in the QA environment or not, because the same code we have to deploy on the production. So for JS, it is not required, but in case of configuration, you might use. And guys, here if you will see, we have the bundle config.json. If you are planning to create the bundles for your CSS file, the bundle for your JS file, we can define here. So these are the input files. So if you will define your custom CSS, so if you will see, this is the custom CSS, site.css. You can define other custom CSS as well. So just put comma and add the reference. So when it will publish the things, so I say output directory, your CSS name will be this one, site.min.css. Same way for the JS as well. If you are defining your JS file, your custom JS file, if you will see, we have only one. So just put here separated by comma. So when you will publish, it will create a single JS file. And even you can create your own as well. It is not mandatory. You can create only one CSS and the one JS. Same, just copy this configuration and paste and define your another bundle as well. So it's up to you. So this is the setting for creating the bundling. So if you remember the MVC 5, we use the bundle config there for creating the bundle. There we have bundle config.cs, but we have here bundle config.json. Everything in JSON we can define. And if you're talking about the startup, so I said here in ASP.NET Core, we have a program, class program, then we have the static main. So in the main method, we are using the web host to run my application. So it is using the startup class, if you will see. So in the web host, we are passing the startup class. So there is a startup class. So startup class is just equivalent to the startup, sorry, the global.asx file we have in MVC5. So you can see we have the configuration. So whatever the configuration we have defined in app setting.json, we can access using this configuration. As we have there, the configuration manager in ASP.NET 4.0 and the MVC5. Same way we have here this configuration. So using this configuration, we can access the app setting.json connection string, whatever the setting we have there, we can access it. I don't know, guys, if you will see in ASP.NET Core MVC, we have to add MVC explicitly. By default, there is no setting for the MVC. So you have to add the MVC as a middleware. So if you want to configure the MVC in your ASP.NET Core application, you have to add as a middleware. And guys, the middleware are just like as we have the module and handler. So in place of module and handler, we have the middleware. Same way we can add here others middleware as well, like session I can use here. I can add others middleware. Let's say the logging, I can also, the dependency injection I can add here. So all the middlewares we will configure in this configure service method. Simple. And if you will see, we have this configure method, and here we are checking whether the environment is development, whether the environment is node element. So if you are in the development environment, so just show the developer exception page so that you can understand what the error is happening in my code. So exact error it will show to us. So within the browser, it will show the exact error. But if your environment is not development, then show the custom error page. If you will see, we have a custom error page in our application, this one. So this will show the custom error message like an error occurred while processing the request. If your application is running in the production environment and in the testing environment. But in the development, it will show the exact error. As we have the yellow page in web form, like MVC5, same way you will get the page here with the detail exception. And if you will see, this is the static files. So if you will see, we have a www root folder. So if you will not call this method, so you cannot serve any static file. So if you want to serve the static files, so from CSS JS library, so this method you have to call so that you can serve the static files here. And this is the way to configure the various routes for your MVC application. So just like MVC5, we can have more than one routes for our application. So here we can add one more route for our application. So here we can define the route one by one. So you can copy here and you can define your one more route. Let's say the default one I can define, but it is not mandatory to define the default value for the controller. I can skip default value for action. I can skip, and ID as well I can skip. So this is my specific route. I'm just putting at the top level, but make sure your route name is unique. And even I can put here the hard code value. Let's say site slash. So these are the default value here, because when we will run our application and when you will access as a domain.com, so obviously there should be the startup page which going to be rendered as a home page for our application. So this is the setting for the home page. So if you're not passing any controller, if you're not passing any action, it will look for the home controller, it will look for the index action. So that's why if you will see here, the first controller generally in our application we create with the name home, because it is as per the default value for my controller, default value for my action index. So in the home controller, if you will see, we have a index action. So this index page will be served as a home page for our ASP.NET Core application. But the same page you can also serve using the default one page as well. So guys, here all the files, all the folder I have explained here so that you have the idea to understand the things. Yeah guys, here the attribute routing is supported in .NET Core. So as you can define the attribute routing in MVC5, you can also define here. Deepak, the database connections thing I said you have to define in app-setting.json. Then you can call in this configure service method using the entity framework setting. So there is a way to register the configuration, the connection string using the entity framework core here. Simple. So guys, here let's run the code and see how it is showing our home page for the application. RMS, if you want to use the AD.NET, you can use AD.NET. But for the AD.NET, you have to create the separate project, because generally for the Dell layer, we create the separate one. So you can see here, this is my home page. You can navigate to the about us page. You can navigate to the contact us page. Everywhere you can navigate. You can see. And if you're talking about here, the tag helper. So let's see, I can create a one action method here. So this is my action method, and I can put here for the login. For the login, I can add a view. So just do one thing, just add a model here. So I'm just adding a model for the login. So it will be here login view model. So there is a class login view model. And now we just add some properties here. I'm adding the property. It is here a string, then user name, then we have for password here, a string password this way. So now what I can do, I can create the text box for username. I can create the text box for password. So what we will do, we should create a view by doing right click. So just add a view, then add here, add. So you can see here it is using the scaffolding. So scaffolding is a code generation technique, and scaffolding is everywhere nowadays. So if you are using Angular, if you are using that ASP.NET MVC, if you are using the ASP.NET Core, everywhere we have the scaffolding technique for the code generation. Guys, if you are talking about the action result and the action result, in MVC 5 we use the action result, but here we are using the action result. Okay, so that's why we are using here I action result here, because your MVC we have the various result type. So instead of going to specify the common, instead of going to specify the specific result type, here we are defining the action result, because I action result indirectly and directly implemented by this view result class. So if you will see, this is the view result class, and here we are inheriting the action result, and the action result is implementing the action result interface. So it's up to you whether you want to inherit it from action result, whether you want to inherit implement from the action result. Both will do the same thing. So I'm skipping this implementation. I'm directly using the action result so that I can make it better. So if you will see here, just I have a login.cshtml file, and here using the form tag, I can create the form here. And here we have the tag helper way for creating it. So what I can do, I can use here the tag helper. So we have the tag helper for the same purpose. So we have a ASP dash action. Now define the action name. So action name is here login. Then we can use here ASP dash controller. So controller name would be here home. And now within this form tag, you have to define your code. And here using @model, we should define the login view model class. This class we have to define here, because we are going to create here the strongly type view. And in Bootstrap, there is a class form horizontal, so that everything will be in horizontal way. And here we can design a div using the Bootstraps. It will be here form group, then define a label. In the label, there is a class, we have control label. So if you want to define the label, so we have a control label class, then define the Bootstrap grid. Let's say I'm using here column SM2, and use here username for the label, and for the text box. So we have a div and use here a class. So it will be here column dash sm dash 10, because in Bootstrap we have the 12 column grid system. So that's why the sum of the column should be 12, not more than 12. And here just create a input type text, and here we can define the tag helper for which we want to create this text box. So it will be here in ASP4, and for ASP4 it will be here username. So it will be here for username. Now define the CSS class. It will be here form desk control. So you can see here it is giving you the experience of JS framework. So as we write the code in Angular JS, the same way we are writing the code in ASP.NET Core as well. So if someone is UI designer like UI developer, so for them the code is easy to understand because you are not putting here your eraser syntax for creating the things. So it is making the markup simple and clean, and it is easy to understand as well. Guys, they have not removed the Razor HTML helper. We have the HTML helpers as well, but now those are not recommended. Recommended is use the tag helper. Simple. So here this is the things we are defining here. Then we have the form group for password. So we have password. So it will be here input type password. So just copy this one and we have the password here. Simple. And here we can define the horizontal line here. So make sure we have the password property. Okay, we have the password. There was some spelling mistake. Now it is submit button. So it will be here input type submit and the value would be here login. So just use here login value CSS class. It will be here btn and btn dash primary. So this is the button it will create. So when you will click on this, the button obviously we have to receive the value on the server side. So value we can receive in the home controller using the post method. So just copy here and now just define the value using the HTTP post. So we have here HTTP post for accessing the value. And what are the model we have defined login view model in the model. I can access its value. So we can directly run this page. Aditya, if you're talking about the Linux and the Mac OS deployment, so we have to do the changes in our program.cs file. We have to create the deployment things as per the web server we are going to use. By default, we have the support for the IIS here. So if you want to add the support for Apache Tomcat and the Linux, the Nginx, so we have to define the things. Simple. So if you will see here, we have home/login. So we have here home/login. Simple. So you can see we are getting the username, we are getting the password here. And even I can do one thing, I can wrap this one in a div. This way. And add a class here. So class would be here form group. And here we will use column dash sm dash offset 2. Now just reload the things. So now let's say if you are passing the username, let's say I'm passing here Shailendra password 123456. You will get on the server side. You can see you can access the things here. So I'm getting the username and the password, and it will again going to render the same page here. Simple. So these are the things here we can do. Guys, here I said now the things are of the simplicity. So if you want to simplify your markup, if you want to simplify the things, so tag helper will help you in that case. Because not the case you are the only who is working on the designing part. In your team, you might have a UI developer. So for to the UI developer, the things are not easy to understandable. So guys, here now you have the idea how we can use the ASP.NET Core for developing our application. So guys, in a one class, it is not possible to cover each and everything. So from my side, I have done my best to share all the things. And if you have any query, any doubt regarding the session, please ask. It is simple for the web API. You don't need to create the controller. You have to just define your action. Just define your action in the same controller and you can access it as a web API. Simple. And at that action level, you have to just define the other route there. Guys, for the deployment ways, it is going to be same. You have to just change your host server, whether you are going to deploy in the test environment, whether you want to deploy on the production environment. Simple. And guys, here I'm just sharing